Hello lads, my name is Peebus, also known as Peeb. This video will be different from anything else I've done before. I've never actually done a long-form content video like this because it's just not really been something I've previously been interested in, but when a topic such as this comes up, I feel like I have to, you know? It's in my realm of something that I want to talk about. I also thought I would try recording myself, as you can see, but I'm not entirely sure how this is gonna go because... yeah, so if you don't know me, which I'm presuming a lot of people don't, I am an illustrator. Kind of. I studied illustration, at least, in university as my undergraduate, and for postgraduate I did a master's in creative practice. And my special field, I guess you could say, is comics and graphic novels. If you have decided you're curious and have checked out my channel, you will have seen that I have a lot of videos surrounding Acts 19, which is my current ongoing project. It is a webcomic. You can read it for free on a few different platforms. It is a collaboratively written project between myself and Rice Crispy on YouTube. Shout out, go subscribe. It's a comic about a cannibal serial killer with like demons and supernatural stuff. It's just what I'm interested in. I also used to do, you know, animation memes back in the day. You know, the yeah. While Acts 19 is my main passion, to the point of frustration because I feel like I can't get into anything else anymore. I have been feeling a bit demotivated lately, and I do want to preface this isn't a call for sympathy, a pity call or anything like that. This is just me being very honest. Acts 19 hasn't garnered as much attention as I hoped it would. I was uploading very regularly when the chapters were releasing, and it has been on hiatus for a few months. Part of the problem there is that I found a lot of errors with the original 9 chapters, and as part of my master's degree I decided to redo a lot of those chapters.
Nice.
Most of it was focusing on changing up dialogue, changing up pacing. The first chapter I completely redid. I'm currently redoing another chapter just out of my own time because I feel like it and I like doing it, but I'm not actually making progress in the plot at the moment, and that's kind of been an issue. So my demotivation is partly my own fault, but when it comes to like social media, posting online, things like that, I really have struggled with it, and I feel like the market for illustrators and artists, it's so cutthroat, and it hasn't helped with the rise of a certain thing recently, and you probably know what I'm talking about if you've seen the title of the video, or at least you've guessed. This video is about So, to start this long tangent, I had a tutorial group around November last year, while I was doing my master's. It was with the media lecturer, you know, because my course was like all-encompassing to kind of all creative fields. There was some game dev students, things like that, you know? And he showed us a video, a tech demo of what could be for a future World Cup. I don't know exactly what year. It was Tokyo's campaign to try and get people to vote for them. I don't know how it works. I'm not a football guy. But their whole thing was that they wanted to make communication possible between everyone so that there wasn't a awkward common language or slow translation apps, you know, things like that. And it was a cool concept.
어떡해요?
So when he showed that video, you know, kind of get the vibe that he likes new and upcoming tech, very into that, so I was and wasn't surprised when he opened Discord and went to Midjourney. At the time, I knew what AI art was, I knew what it stood for, and I wasn't surprised when he started to go through, you know, asking all of us to give a prompt to put into Midjourney so we'd all, you know, see what it was about. When it gave the results, I kind of scoffed a bit and thought this looks like dog shit because at the time, which was last year, AI art isn't what it is today. But when he asked everyone, do you think this is cool? This is cool, right? Everyone kind of half-heartedly nodded, like, yeah, this is cool, I guess. And I was kind of a bit flabbergasted because, you know, again, I knew what AI art was. I think it is a good time to mention that this video isn't a video essay that is looking through all the technicals. It isn't going to be very heavily referenced, it isn't going to have a lot of sources. This is more my opinions, my thoughts, my feelings. It's a rant, it's a tangent. I just need to have an outlet to talk about this abomination that is happening right before us and how little people are doing to stop it. So from my understanding of how AI image generators work, they work by scanning through millions of images provided by developers, typically the work of other artists, and mesh it together into something the AI thinks is cohesive. What's concerning is if you look at Midjourney and its results from like last year or the year before, like the version 1, they are very some weird amalgamation of people, and it doesn't really make much sense what you're looking at because it doesn't know how to decipher it. But when you look to the most recent versions, it is scarily competent in its own way, you know? Like, you can look at what it's producing and think, oh yeah, that's that thing. They've proven now that they can make the artist replacement native, and I don't think we need to keep doing this, you know? Like, congrats, here's a medal, you've created the thing. Let's move on with our lives and leave people alone. I could probably end the video there, to be honest. Twitter has been an exciting place recently, if you're not on there. I'm not gonna lie, I am prone to doom scrolling on Twitter, especially with how it's been with Musky Boys takeover. If you're on Twitter, or if you're not, here is a fun experiment for you. Go to literally any viral tweet, whether it's a video, usually videos work the best for this, and just look at the replies, you know? If it's some kind of video where it's like, oh, cool fact, or oh, look at this animal, or, you know, that kind of thing. The replies are full of what looks like, to me, engagement bots, right? They will reply to unrelated videos that vaguely relate to the topic. They'll reply with phrases that don't really make sense, or sentences that don't really relate or make sense. There are a few examples of replies where it's just an AI chatbot being like, sorry, I can't blah 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 this because of blah 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 reason. Those are kind of funny when you see, like, it's just kind of calling them out. There is no obvious way to prove they're all AI bots, other than the ones that actually do fuck up and don't give out a answer to whatever prompt the person put in to get a reply engagement. But they, at this point, they do plague Twitter a bit. There is an obvious plague going on with engagement bots. To the point where I don't look at replies on any tweet anymore, because it will just be full of these people, and instead, if you are on Twitter, I'd recommend just going into quotes. You will see people's actual thoughts and opinions on things, if, you know. Since Elon Musk's takeover of Twitter, there have been a lot of mistakes he's made, including the whole X thing. Nobody calls it X, okay? People make jokes about calling it X. Nobody's xeeting or posting, they're making tweets. People are calling it Twitter still. You failed at the marketing. One of the most egregious mistakes he made was adding the whole monetization thing to people who subscribe to Twitter Blue. I don't even know if it's called Twitter Blue anymore. I think it's called just Premium now. By adding monetization, you're encouraging people to do things like rage baiting, engagement baits, you know, things that will get a reaction out of people. They'll reply to every viral tweet knowing that is guaranteed to get them some views, and therefore they will make their money back on whatever they've paid for premium Twitter or whatever. You know, back in my day, the need for clout was just a need for clout. It was just for attention, and it was a bit cringe, but that's all it was. Now it's all automated. It's not even cringe, it's not even something to look at and go, haha, it's boring. You know, you made the internet boring, Elon. This is partially dead internet theory, which I don't entirely believe in. I don't think everyone on the internet is a bot, but I do think that there is a problem now, especially on Twitter, with engagement botting. Drink some more. There's also been a considerable increase in right-wing propaganda. I've seen more AI-generated imagery regarding transphobic rhetoric, which makes total sense to me, because the trans argument comes down to conservatives getting angry over things that didn't happen, will never happen, and it's just easier to generate the images than scouring through the one example of where maybe it's true. Though, speaking on this should bring up a red flag in everyone, that the right wing is using generated content to make an argument towards trans rhetoric. Now imagine AI images were much more convincing than we are, which they are becoming. Because while now they are a bit more technically impressive, you can still very obviously tell when an image is AI generated. But what if it could realistically depict images down the line? Say now, you're someone called J.K. Rowling, just as an example. You could generate an image of a masculine-looking person entering a woman's bathroom and harassing other women and using the trans argument. You could generate an image of a who is trans. You could generate an image of a child getting surgical transition before they're 18, which currently does not happen, by the way. That could be really damaging, not just to, you know, the trans cause, imagine it's anything, you know? You know, right now, my cat came into my room. You know, right now, because AI images aren't that convincing, people will call it out and say, oh, this is clown behavior. You have to generate images to, you know, make an argument. Me when I'm in a making shit up argument and I'm up against a conservative. Yeah. We've already seen Israel use AI images to help with their propaganda against the Palestinian people. There was a rather convincing image, not fully convincing, of people flocking the streets to cheer and celebrate Israel and its efforts to genocide children. But if you look closer at it, suddenly the people are a blurred amalgamation. A monstrous form that pretends to be people, and it pretends to be real. But give it a year, 2 years, what will happen to those images? They're gonna keep improving them until you can no longer tell the difference. I can give some examples if you'd like. Here. New Zealand is not safe under Labour, reads the caption on a picture of a spaceless burglar. There is no reference to the origin of the image. Voters' reactions in the comments are mixed, with some condemning the Trump-like policy and others welcoming the use of modern technology. Alternative für Deutschland. I butchered that so hard. In March 2023, AfD Deputy Parliamentary Group Leader Norbert Kleinwachter drew attention to himself with an AI image. No to even more refugees. His Instagram post reads, showing angry people with their mouths agape. It wasn't the last AI image on Kleinwachter's channel. He also likes to make caricatures of political opponents. And here, another AI deepfake video falsely depicting climate activist Greta Thunberg advocating for the use of sustainable military technology and biodegradable missiles. And here, Venezuelan state media outlets, for example, spread pro-government messages through AI-generated videos of news anchors from a non-existent international English language channel. Quick side note, while I was trying to find examples, I found this article by The Sun. Fuck The Sun, by the way, if you don't know what it is. It's a right-wing tabloid newspaper, and it's just fucking dribble. And they still have tits on the third. That's still a thing. Why is this still a... If you read The Sun unironically, you're actually brain dead, and go find some alternatives that are either neutral or left. Anyway, The Sun wrote an article about how Hamas generates images to garner sympathy for their cause. You know, it's probably true. But is it? This is another fucking case of AI propaganda war, and it's an interesting case because, of course, a biased newspaper is going to say, look, Hamas are generating content. They're the bad guys because they're making shit up. There's just so many layers here. I feel insane just looking at this article because this AI image generation war is happening right before us. Hamas wouldn't even need to spread generated content because this is actually happening to them. And the worst part is that all the images that The Sun has on this article, they're not properly credited, not really, it just is credit Twitter. Show me the accounts, The Sun. Show me the tweet. I want to know what the source is. I want to know what this is from and who tweeted this. Oh, you can't because it's probably not true. Okay. Rent over. Free Palestine, by the way. It's not that hard to say. Some people find it hard to say. No. My initial reaction is AI is not necessary. In the creative field, at least. I've seen some people say, we don't want AI in anything, which I don't entirely agree with. AI could make people's lives easier and more manageable. Actually, I sort of take back my answer. AI can be necessary as a tool in the creative field. Here's a video explaining how AI was used in Across the Spider-Verse to assist in animations.
was used to animate Into the Spider-Verse. The easiest way to explain it is that they animated shots, let's say A, C, and E, having each of those shots at different angles. And they put those designs into a machine learning program, and that machine gave out shots B and D, filling in shots in between two other ones. Then animators went back and made sure the machine did the right thing, and they repeated this process over and over and over again, to the point that eventually the machine could keep on filling in even wider and wider gaps. So they could give it shots F and I, and it filled in the complete blank in between.
It's been used in the animation industry as a tool to assist with a lot of the tedious work. The problem is that artists do not currently use AI image generators, which I should have rephrased the question. Is AI image generators necessary? Which the answer is a resounding no, they are not. The developing companies around AI image generators don't have artists in mind when they're developing this technology. They're catering to the tech bros. I'll talk more about the AI bro and the tech bro later, but I want to focus on the hypothetical use of AI as a tool for now. One of my friends recently asked me a few questions regarding AI art for an essay they're working on. For one of the answers, I decided to try something out. As we speak, I'll do a live footage of me drawing a panel for Acts 1-9. In particular, I'm talking about storyboarding a panel, just getting a quick idea of how I want the characters' position, their expressions, any notes about perspective, where the dialogue might go, early concepts. Early concepts are the only example I can think of when using AI image generation in the professional field. If you have an idea for an illustration and want to render a concept quickly, maybe you could use AI image generators just to bash one out for you. However, that doesn't work for professionals. Especially if you're a storyboarder, or you practice enough gesture drawings, if you've technically learned art, you will not need an image generator. And before any of you AI lovers come at me and say, did you even try to use an AI image generator to generate an image? Yes, I fucking did. I told myself that I would never engage with AI image generators because ethically and morally I despise them, but for the sake of an argument and for proving myself correct, I went ahead and tried to generate an exact panel from the comic. You could argue I wasn't being specific enough, that I could have added more for it to understand what composition I had in mind, but to be fucking frank with you, it would have taken me half as much time to bloody draw the thing. Which is my exact fucking point about AI image generators. They are useless to artists. The only relationship between AI image generators and artistry is the fucking theft that goes on, so that they can work. AI image generators are not a tool for artists, and that's the problem. The AI bro is an interesting phenomenon that I have recently become kind of fascinated with. To explain to anyone who is outside of the loop, AI bros are people who love to suck and fuck AI images. They will use them a lot to render their professional quality, I put in quotation marks, illustrations. Just don't look too closely at them. You will see them pull every excuse, every reasoning, every spiteful remark they can to defend their usage. I do see a lot of people, not just AI bros, but people in general, bring up the fact it's cool that anyone can simply generate an image, and it's fun to experiment with. Yet think long and hard about that anyone can generate an image. People who pursue art do it for a large variety of reasons. For me, I wanted the little creatures in my head to become real, in a sense. I tried to depict the characters and narratives I had been developing during my daydreams into a reality. Ooh, we're gonna grab something now. This is gonna be fun. Here is the notebook that I attempted to write my first ever story in. Because I was a big fan of How to Train Your Dragon, the book series, when I was a kid, I'd include little illustrations alongside the story. By the way, this is written so god-awfully, none of it makes sense, but... like, look. It goes on for ages. That's all written. I gave up at some point, but isn't that cool? This notebook and this story took me down a path that I don't regret, even for a second. It did take me years to draw, because I never properly studied until I got to college or A-levels. I would rarely even look at like tutorials. I just kind of drew based off vibes, based off kind of looking at people. A bit of like an outsider art kind of vibe, you know? My recent journey with art has been unlearning bad habits and making sure my anatomy is less, you know? I'm not unhappy with my choices, but a bit of part of me hates AI image generators for being able to produce what's taken me years to learn. It's an insult, if I'm being completely honest with you. I feel like it's a mockery of humanity in general. I don't think I'm alone in this sentiment, but the AI bro is so defensive because they want to keep mocking artists on every level. Artists are out here choosing to put the hard work in to do what they love. The saddest part is that learning to draw really isn't that difficult. For God's sake, PewDiePie has shown 2 videos of him learning to draw, and looking at the results, that's impressive shit. Though I do want to put it out there, it's impressive that he can replicate anime art. He is going through the kind of copying phase of learning, which isn't a problem or anything. I've seen a lot of people get a bit like, oh, he's better than me and I've been drawing for years. He's just copying his other pieces. If he was trying to do his own original piece, it would probably fall a bit flat. That's not the point. Drawing is a hobby for most people. Only batshit crazy idiots like myself try to pursue it as a career and get bitterly disappointed at every turn. It's not a demanding hobby to pick up. You don't need all the money, all the fancy tools. Artists are a
thrifty munch.
Because typically, artists don't make much money. So, if you bother to look out there, you can find cheap resources, cheap materials, and you can simply start today, tomorrow. But AI bros don't want to, do they? Because AI bros are fundamentally fucking lazy. I want to look at one particular sad example. Shadman. Is it Shadman? No, it's not Shadman. Shadman is the nonce peeb. Shadiversity, or Shad Embrooks. He's into big swords, schoolgirls wielding big swords. He also really loves AI art. On multiple occasions, he has spoken about his process in a vain attempt to defend it, where making a generated piece. Weirdly enough, he draws portions of the illustration. That's weird, right? Why not just illustrate an anime girl wielding a sword? Oh, that's right, it's because he hates drawing. Okay, so, hi, editing peeb here, after trying to search for a source, because I swear I know he said this, I can't find it, and I can't be asked watching his content right now, so I might be wrong about this, who knows, but apologies, I don't have a source here, I'll try to do better, etc, etc, cool, okay, bye. Going to Shad's and other people's profiles of this kind is so brain-rotting. They all type like fucking stupid essays on why they're so valid and why they do it, and it hurts my head to read. The loopholes they go through to justify it is wild to me. It makes me physically cringe. Okay, this is editing peeb talking right now. I need to show exactly what I mean by reading through a copium level essay on AI art. For anyone who thinks making great AI art is always easy, requires no talent or skill, I challenge them to make an image of their own original character with the same pose, hand placement, sword position as this image here from nothing but word prompts. If all AI art is low effort and requires no skill, then prove it and show a recording of your process. It should be easy for you to make a similar image of equivalent quality with the features I described. Good luck, because where the technology is right now, that's impossible with just word prompts. AI image generators struggle with a lot of things like hands with complex finger placement, complex poses, original characters with specific designs, and depicting swords and many other geometric objects with specific shapes on any angle other than on profile. These limiters are going to remain in AI art for a long time, and only capable artists can overcome them. To prove this, I decided to make this image that has all those difficult elements to demonstrate that people with skill in multiple mediums and artistic ability can overcome the limitations and make more complex, specific, and at the end of the day, superior AI art. Anyone familiar or experienced with AI art will know how fiendishly difficult making an image like this is, with AI image generators really is. I'm not the best artist, but what I can do here should show you the possibility of what more talented artists could do with AI art. If you're a talented traditional artist, afraid of getting replaced by AI artists, you can make better AI art than the competition with your artistic ability. Like, dude, shut the fuck up, honestly. Like, can we bring back cringe culture? Just this one time? Can we bully people? No death threats though, death threats are bad, but can we bully people just this one time? Also, if you didn't know, Shad is Jazz's older brother. You know, that Jazzer. Dude has a complex. Because he can never live up to how cool his brother is, and thus does AI art. It's fucking sad, man. This dude's fucking pathetic. This is where a theory emerges in my brain that AI bros are born from an envy, a jealousy that comes from the fact that artists are stupidly brave enough to pursue a career in the arts despite all the setbacks. AI bros, from what I've seen, often have some kind of relationship to tech or STEM, engineering, technology, men, boring shit. For legal reasons. This is a joke. I love you, men. Dude, I'm gonna be called, like, ugly and shit. I'd be like, well, men don't love you. Well, I know, I'm basically a lesbian at this point. I don't give a shit. Dude, how do I continue from that? They're the kind of guys who get into a career that's relatively easy to get into at this point because technology is thirsty for people to make their little softwares and their programs and things like that. Art is more lucrative and confusing, and sometimes feels impossible to navigate when it comes to making income and starting a career. It does seem simple on paper, just set up commissions and the money will come in. But even then, you need to develop an audience who will like and share your work so you can expand, so people can passively introduce your work to others. And when you're bad at social media, like I am, it feels like a gargantuan, monumental, impossible task to attempt to even grow an audience. I'm sure many others in the creative field relate to this aspect. And I know my experience isn't unique or special. I'm just using me as an example. Regardless, the point is that artists face struggles. AI bros never have to face them, because they can simply go to Midjourney, OpenAI, or whatever they use to generate images, and it just does what it asks of them. They can simply post it on Twitter and watch the likes roll in, because likely they will be generating images that people find aesthetically pleasing or easy to consume. It's fucking brainless. It's fucking disgusting. I don't think I'm superb at conveying myself, but I hope that if you're neutral on AI, you can see where I and many other artists are coming from at this point, with our frustrations and our dislike. One last Small point about AI bros before we move on to other things. It is very interesting what choice of illustration they typically like to generate. Can you tell, just from me scrolling through Twitter, what kind of audience the users of AI image generators are? Is it obvious? You know, I've had a few friends who were into tech and STEM and were pursuing that as a career in the past. And they were usually men, not all the time, but I can see how they would get sucked into this rabbit hole because you can just post it online and get likes from other horny AI bros. It's just a colossal circle jerk full of fucked up looking inbred anime girls with 7 fingers, 4 arms, and a disproportionate tits doing fucking egg hours. I missed when Gen AI looked abstract, weird, and nonsensical. Looking back at when we produced something on Midjourney during that tutorial group that I mentioned earlier, and the fact that I scoffed at it because it was funny looking is interesting because it at least had something to say. There's at least something there about how AI perceives things, how it thinks a human looks, how a room looks, how an object looks. Like back then it would produce images that were like when you look at the image and can't decipher what anything is. You know that one, you know, like the everything's incomprehensible kind of thing. It was interesting to think what the machine dreamed of. But the machine promised to be able to dream, but never got the chance to, because it was coded to produce cheap imitations instead of being able to think for itself. There was an account I used to follow on Twitter called Elegiac AI. It was before this boom of generators, when it was all abstract and weird. I loved what it would produce, believe it or not. It barely made any sense, yet it felt like the AI had something to say at that moment. I felt like I could almost perceive things through its eyes. It was, to me, creating art. It explored the world in its unique, non-human lens and used humanity as a reference for what to depict. It produced weird, heavenly, creepy, and liminal images. A space that doesn't exist and could never exist. I could do a whole video arguing about how and why that is art. I won't, because this video has been more all-encompassing. I just think that the earlier renditions of AI art are a lot more interesting. It was an interesting experiment. One I felt should have stopped a long time ago. There's a misconception about me and many others who have taken this anti-AI stance. I don't hate AI. I think AI should be developed and used in fields that need it. People list things like insane math problems, assisting with tedious work that no one wants to do, helping employees in retail and customer service. There are countless examples of how AI can be used to help us with a healthy future. And yet, here we are. OpenAI recently showed a demo of Sora, which can create a rendered video almost perfectly. Except for Minecraft examples, because what the scallop is going on there? It's horrifying. A lot of people agreed on that. Arguably impressive, sure. I'd have to disagree. It shouldn't impress anyone. It should only terrify you. Editor's note, I recently found out that Shutterstock has fucked over countless people by making anyone's work available to be scraped by AI datasets. It is automatically checked on, so a lot of people were unaware that this was going to happen, and people were paid $50 as compensation for their work to be scraped. $50. I swear to God, a few years down the line, there's going to be a section in modern history on how AI companies fucked over millions of artists for a measly $50 fucking dollars. Like, are you kidding me? In this day and age, $50 fucking dollars barely covers basic groceries. I'm going to throw a brick at someone. I'm going to do something. I hate capitalism. I hate tech companies. What's important to me for closing out my thoughts on this is emphasizing that I'm not scared of AI art. I'm a little scared of Sora. I don't think that should go into the public's hands ever. Period. But AI art feels like a fad to me. And let's face it, the way Midjourney has been treating artists and laundering from them, eventually a lawsuit will come and probably another one after that. I think you can see a lot in the audience's reaction to finding out a piece is AI generated. It's never good. People don't like it. Art is so beautifully human, and to strip that from an audience perspective is equally as insulting as from an artist's perspective. Wacom tried it, very stupidly, and received massive backlash. Wizards of the Coast tried it and received massive backlash. Hell, fucking Nicki Minaj keeps trying it, and while she seems to be doubling down on it, one of my favourite comments about AI art comes from her new marketing campaign towards her album. I don't know, I'm not keeping up with Nicki Minaj. I don't give a shit about Nicki Minaj. You know what I've realised about AI images in your marketing? It sends out the message that you've got no budget. It's the digital equivalent of wearing an obviously fake Chanel bag. Your whole brand immediately appears feeble and impoverished. That's exactly it. AI appears cheap and manufactured. The pure definition of bloated consumerism, right there in front of us. Art has always been a finite resource. Only humans can produce it. Honestly, in a very positive way, AI art has changed my perspective on people and art as a whole. I will now like and share artwork that I would have scoffed at for being bad or cringeworthy or beginner or amateurish. But I'd rather see someone's valiant and vulnerable attempt at art than more of this AI slop. As people, we should be fighting against this attempt at suffocating artists out of their own industry. We should support smaller and bigger artists in any way we can for just doing what they love. They at least have the balls to do it. Thank you for watching. This has been Peeb. I have chicken KIEV now. Do you want to go on there? So this video isn't sponsored. I have under 100 subscribers. I'm just a wee little boy navigating my way around the internet. If you do fancy supporting me in any way, you can read Acts 19 on Webtoon or Global Comics. I think Tapas as well. But I don't know if I actually kept up with uploading on Tapas. I can't remember. If you're not interested in reading my comic, you can follow me on Twitter, but I don't even know how long I'm going to be on Twitter because apparently Elon Musk and Midjourney have been in talks of collabing in some way or another, and that outcome is never going to be great. So if something does happen there, I will likely be deleting my Twitter account and moving elsewhere. Keep you up on that. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to like, subscribe, leave a comment on your thoughts. I struggled to script this video because I was trying to be more informative and methodical regarding this discussion, but I struggled for a while to do that, so I wrote it how I'd write tangents to friends about AI. I thought that'd be more interesting. He's such a final note, I do know about GLAZE and NIGHTSHADE. Both cool. If you don't know, GLAZE will protect your artwork from AI scraping, and NIGHTSHADE will poison AI data training. Very neat stuff. I'd recommend, if you're an artist online, you should glaze and poison your work before posting them anywhere. I just didn't have much time to add to that, so I thought I'd briefly mention it in case anyone thinks I'm unaware of what it is and what it can do to help. I'll link everything down below, resources, bibliography, etc. If I have missed anything else and you want me to address it anyway, I will leave a pinned comment below to discuss anything regarding this topic. But yeah, say bye.
Hello, my name is Princess Jane. I would like to show you some tricks. I hope you enjoy it.